Today's review is on last night's episode of Family Guy. Chris has got a date. Yes, that's 5 dates right there. In the episode, Chris is looking for a date for his upcoming homecoming dance at his and Meg's high school. Even Neil has a date, and no, it's not Meg, since I bet that is what you were all thinking. His date is the vice principal, since her husband just died. Really, Neil? You're taking the vice principal to the homecoming dance, even though her husband just died? It also seems like she's fine with, she forgot about him. I guess they figured they'd go together to help each other out. Chris asked out a girl named Kara, but she said no, as she thought he was the robot Baymax from Big Hero 6, leading Chris angry, yelling out the robot's name for Kara, Chris calling her a gorgeous moron. Meanwhile, some random guy gets in Peter's car, mistaking him as an Uber driver, which Peter takes the opportunity of being one. Chris tells Stewie about being dateless for the homecoming, as he thinks it's because people make fun of him calling him names, ending with Nips. Even Stewie called him Big Fat Nips. Stewie, just because you're family and the little brother doesn't mean you get a free pass, you football head. Hey, how's Arnold doing? You hang around with him and Gerald sometimes? Stewie, that was hypocritical. Stewie thinks people calling Chris names are haters, or just could be shallow pieces of crap. Stewie suggests Chris shake it off like Taylor Swift. But Chris has no clue who she is. Stewie has a shocked expression like, "How me out pulling out this tape measure? Oh my god, you biatch, seriously?" Meg and Brian are not impressed by Taylor. This was so funny. Out of nowhere, Stewie angrily whoops Brian in the face. Would you be nice? The baby loves him some Taylor. Stewie, you are killing me. At least he didn't get Meg. Before taking a fellow to the airport, Peter does his errands first, and doesn't finish until night after coming from yoga, leading a gentleman's flight to leave in the next 20 minutes. Peter is not going to make it, so he calls backup. And it's another Peter. Taylor and Chris arrive at Chris' homecoming, having a blast. Everyone is shocked to see Taylor with Chris. Taylor finds Chris cool and down to earth, as Chris finds her nice and normal. Actually feels comfortable being around Tay, despite being a celeb. That is beautiful. The two lovebirds take a walk home. Then there's the usual moment we've seen in past Family Guy episodes. Chris and Taylor smile, stare into each other's eyes, and kiss. The next day, Chris makes a collage for her with the things she likes: flowers, crop tops, and Kanye West with his mouth shut. Show 'em what you working with, the redhead hottie. Man, I laughed so hard. Now people hate Chris. There was even a meme about him saying, "You done swift up." Brian also had a point about Taylor in relationships. She sabotages it and writes songs about it. Luckily, she has a house in Quahog, so Chris can talk to her. Chris, Brian, and Stewie arrive. Taylor is sorry for what she did to Chris, since deep down she likes him. She always does this when ruining relationships with nice guys and John Mayer, leading her to write songs about heartbreak and moving on. Chris says that he believes that it's unhealthy for her to keep doing this, and if she keeps going down this path, Taylor will never have an actual good relationship, because obviously that's what the actual real Taylor Swift does. I'm telling you, if the actual real Taylor Swift keeps doing these unhealthy songs, I don't see how she's going to have an actual good relationship. That's why Taylor's pretty much taking a break from a man anyways. She makes it up to him by inviting the boys to her concert as guests backstage. Peter ends up in a dark alley where some guys beat him up until he pulls out a picture of Judd Hirsch from the show Taxi. One of the guys burned his car while telling his fake story about Judd Hirsch. At Taylor's concert, everyone's enjoying themselves, until she finally did a positive song about Chris, causing her fans to get angry, booing and throwing things at her, as they preferred the miserable Taylor. What? Why? Wouldn't you want her to eventually be happy? I know actual Taylor fans will want her to have some happiness, wouldn't they? Taylor doesn't care as long as she's happy with Chris, and he feels the same way. But he loves her so much, he wouldn't want her to jeopardize her career, as Chris said harsh things to her for his love for her. Taylor goes back on stage and does a hateful song about Chris. Chris is sad. Aw, poor Chris. And I'm tired of his students in high school picking on him and making fun of him. It's like now Chris is Meg. Because people would pick on Meg and joke about her. Now they pretty much turn it around and it's Chris. Y'all leave Chris alone. Rest in peace to the Chris Taylor relationship. Brian calls an Uber driver to take them home. The Uber driver is no one other than Peter. His car is all beaten up. He himself is beaten up. I like how the boy's eyes are all big like, what the hell happened to you? I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Taylor and Chris's connection with each other, Peter's Uber driving, Stewie's obsession with Taylor, Lois's groove shaking. Oh, this episode was so hilarious. I enjoyed it so much. Even the flashbacks were funny. Chris bringing in the New Year saying animals give him boners. Where's the needle record scratch when you need it? The one where the Griffin family had their own popcorn, drinks, and snacks to take to the movies when watching Braveheart on a laptop. No, they did not. Are you kidding me? I know that's right. Why buy it when you can bring your own stuff? Good thing people still had their eyes on the movie. No one was telling them to turn off the movie. No one didn't say, turn off the movie. Why watch it on a laptop when the movie is right in front of you? Lastly, the whole Princess Bride with Stewie and Bill Cosby. So hilarious. And I wonder if the actual Taylor Swift saw this Family Guy episode. Maybe not yet. But either way, only time will tell. Well, this has been my review. Tell me your thoughts. Taylor looks so super pretty and awesome in her animation form. I swear. All right, that's it.